Welcome to lesson one. Before we dive in, I wanted to spend a few minutes talking about my personal health journey. Do you see these two pictures? On the left, I didn't really take care of myself. I had no idea how many calories my body needed. I never tracked my food or paid attention to macros. I didn't exercise regularly. And when it came to eating, I chose whatever tasted good and was convenient. As a result, I was overweight, didn't have much energy, and felt sluggish all the time. Fast forward to the picture on the right. After going through some health issues, I decided to put eating well and taking care of myself as a top priority. I overhauled my diet, not only paying attention to how much I eat, but what I eat. I began exercising regularly and prioritizing sleep and stress management. As a result, I've never felt better. My weight is consistently in a healthy range. I have more energy, and I just feel great. It all started when I began to understand the science behind eating well, which is the topic of our first lesson. So let's dive in, shall we? Module 1 starts with lesson 1, the science behind eating well. In lesson 1, you will learn what it means to eat well, the science behind your metabolism, how to calculate your total daily energy expenditure, setting calorie targets, understanding macronutrients, and what you need to do to start making changes to your daily diet. So what does it mean to eat well? There's no right answer here because nutrition is very bio-individual, meaning what's healthy for one person might not be healthy for the next person. To find out what eating well means for you, start by asking yourself a few questions. Does the food I eat support my energy needs? Help me maintain a healthy weight? Get easily digested without causing any gastrointestinal symptoms? Bring me joy? Or give my body everything it needs to thrive? If you answered no to any of these, then there may be some room for improvement in your daily diet. When looking to make any changes to your daily nutrition, both quantity and quality are important. First, let's talk about quantity. As a starting point, it's important to understand how much food or calories your body needs. To do this, we'll begin by understanding your metabolism. Now, in full disclosure, this gets a little in the weeds here, but just stick with me as I think it's important to understand the main components of metabolism and how that is used to calculate your unique energy requirements. Your energy metabolism is comprised of three main components: resting metabolic rate, adaptive thermogenesis, and activity energy expenditure. Resting metabolic rate, or RMR, is the amount of calories your body burns at rest to support cellular functioning. It accounts for about 70% of your total daily energy expenditure and can be influenced by gender, age, genetics, body size and composition, nutritional status, exercise, and thyroid hormones. Adaptive thermogenesis includes the production of heat in response to cold and the thermic effect of food, or TEF, specifically referred to as diet-induced thermogenesis. TEF accounts for 10 to 15% of daily calorie expenditure. Finally, activity energy expenditure, or AEE, is the most variable of the three components and accounts for all activities when we are not at rest, including exercise energy expenditure, or EEE, and non-exercise activity thermogenesis, or NEAT. NEAT includes things like standing, walking, climbing stairs, doing chores, and even chewing gum. Once you understand your metabolism, you can calculate your total daily energy expenditure. On this slide, we'll walk through how the calculation is done. But don't worry if it seems a little confusing, because I've created the Be Well Nutrition tool to automatically do the calculations for you. Again, this might seem a little in the weeds, but I think it's important that you understand where the numbers come from. If you were to do the calculations on your own, you would start by calculating your RMR. The most accurate ways to measure RMR are through either direct or indirect calorimetry. However, RMR can be approximated using various mathematical formulas. The Mifflin-St. Jeor formula is considered to be the most accurate. As you can see here, there are slightly different formulas used for men versus women. Once you have your estimated RMR, you can calculate the thermic effect of food. This is done by multiplying your RMR by 10% to estimate the calories burned from the thermic effect of food. Adding together your RMR and TEF is what I consider your baseline calorie burn. Next, you can estimate your activity energy expenditure. The Be Well Nutrition tool will help you with this step, but if you are doing the calculation manually, then you can follow this guidance. You can add the amount of calories you burn through formal exercise, plus the amount of calories burned through non-exercise activity thermogenesis. If you have a fitness watch, you may be able to estimate these numbers using it, but keep in mind, various fitness watches have different levels of accuracy. Or you can determine your activity multiplier using the following categories. Sedentary equals 0.2, reflecting a desk job and little to no exercise. Lightly active equals 0.35, which is light exercise 1 to 3 days a week. Moderately active has an activity multiplier of 0.5, moderate exercise 3 to 5 days per week. Very active equals 0.65, hard exercise 6 to 7 days a week, and extremely active equals 0.8, which is hard exercise and work in a physical job. You can then take your RMR and multiply it by the activity multiplier. Finally, you can calculate your total daily energy expenditure by adding your RMR plus TEF plus AEE. Once you've calculated your TDEE, you can set daily calorie targets based on your weight goals. At a high level, for weight loss, you'll want a calorie deficit, which means calories in is less than calories out. For weight maintenance, you'll want daily energy balance, meaning calories in equals calories out. And for weight gain, you'll want a daily calorie surplus, meaning calories in is greater than calories out. For weight loss up to 10 pounds, I recommend somewhere between a 350 to 500 calorie deficit per day. For weight loss of more than 10 pounds, I recommend a 500 to 700 calorie deficit per day. However, there's one important note that I want to point out. When setting calorie targets, you should never aim to consume less than 1,200 calories. This makes sure you're getting the proper amount of nutrients you need. Instead of cutting more calories, increase exercise and NEAT to burn more calories in order to achieve the desired calorie deficit. Let's walk through an example to put the concepts into practice. On this slide, you have a 41-year-old female that is 5 feet 6 inches tall and weighs 161 pounds. Her RMR is 1,414 calories. When you add in TEF, which is 10% of RMR or 141 calories, you get a 1,555 calories as her baseline. She has a light activity multiplier of 0.35, which means her AEE equals 495 calories. When you add together her RMR, TEF, and AEE, 1,414 calories plus 141 plus 495, you get her highest total daily energy expenditure, which equals 2,050 calories. Her desired weight goal is to lose less than 10 pounds. Therefore, her recommended calorie range is 1,205 to 1,700 calories. This means that on days she's not very active, you can take her baseline of 1,555 calories minus the desired 350 calorie deficit and get a 1,205 calorie low end range. And then on the days she's most active, you can take her TDEE of 2,050 minus the desired 350 calorie deficit and get a 1700 calorie high end range. Put more simply, depending on her activity for a given day, she can eat between 1205 and 1700 calories and still achieve a 350 calorie deficit. Because the recommendation is to not eat less than 1200 calories per day in order to get the proper amount of nutrients, if she wants a larger deficit, she can increase her activity level to burn more calories. Does that all make sense? I hope so. And again, don't worry if you don't fully understand the equations, because the Be Well nutrition tool does all the calculations for you, making it super easy. This explanation just helps you understand the numbers and where they come from. Okay, now that we understand metabolism and how to set calorie targets, the quantity or how much to eat, let's discuss macronutrients or macros, which help support quantity, but also covers the quality or what to eat. Macronutrients are the nutrients that your body needs in the largest amount. It includes protein at 4 calories per gram, carbohydrates at 4 calories per gram, and fat at 9 calories per gram. According to the Dietary Guidelines for Americans, the acceptable macronutrient distribution ranges are 10 to 35% of calories from protein, 45 to 65% of calories from carbohydrates, and 20 to 35% of calories from fat. Depending on your goals, different people need different ratios of macronutrients. For weight loss, I recommend starting with 25 to 30% of calories from protein, 45 to 50% of calories from carbohydrates, and 20 to 25% of calories from fat. Let's walk through an example. Susan wants to lose weight and has a calorie target of 1400. As a result, she could start with a macro breakdown of 25 to 30% of protein equaling 87.5 to 100.5 grams. To calculate this, you multiply percentage of protein times total calories divided by 4 equals grams of protein. For 45 to 50% of carbohydrates, that would equal 157.5 grams to 175 grams. Again, taking percentage of carbohydrates times total calories divided by 4 equals grams of carbohydrates. Finally, 20 to 25% of fat would equal 31 to 39 grams of fat. This is calculated by taking the percentage of fat times the total calories, this time divided by 9 equals grams of fat. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, when it comes to macronutrients, both quantity and quality are important. So let's touch on the quality piece. For example, with protein, lean or plant-based protein sources are best. These include white meat poultry, white fish, beans and lentils, tofu, egg whites, oats, tempeh, chickpeas, quinoa, pumpkin seeds, and chia seeds. When it comes to carbohydrates, fruits, vegetables, beans, lentils, and whole grains, meaning whole wheat bread, pasta, quinoa, etc., are all good sources. Finally, aim for foods with more healthy fats, meaning monounsaturated and polyunsaturated, versus unhealthy fats or saturated. Good sources of healthy fats include salmon, olive oil, avocado, nuts, and seeds. Try to reduce cheese, red/processed meat, and fried foods. So let's discuss next steps. Once you calculate your total daily energy expenditure and set your calorie targets based on your weight management goals, it's time to baseline your current eating habits to determine the quantity and quality of your daily food intake. The best place to start is with a food log. Some common food logging tools include Fat Secret, MyFitnessPal, and Chronometer. After you've baselined your current eating habits, you can identify the changes that are needed in order to achieve your goals. Lesson 1 wrap-up. This lesson provided an overview of what it means to eat well. We explored the major components of your metabolism and how you can use those components to calculate your total daily energy expenditure and set daily calorie targets based on your goals. Next, we discussed macronutrients and the importance of each in your diet. Finally, we outlined the next step, baselining your current eating habits and identifying changes to your daily diet. It's time for your first challenge. Use the Be Well nutrition tool to calculate your calorie target based on your weight goal. The nutrition tool can be found via a link in your course workbook. Once you have your calorie target, spend 1 week logging food and baselining your habits and identify what changes you may need to make to better align with your target and goals. This final slide provides links to references that were used in the development of this lesson. Thank you for completing lesson 1. Once you've completed challenge 1, head over to lesson 2, Pillars to Eating Well, for more information on the changes you can make to your daily diet in order to achieve your goals. Thank you.